Good morning. I am recording this and I will post it to YouTube immediately after this session. So I think to make things go a little bit smoothly, um, we won't do any questions today. I'm really kind of intrigued about the timing of this activity to get a sense of what we're going to be doing May 15th. So I had my Euro guys do basically the same thing this morning, and um, the timing of it, of what I'm asking you to do today, is going to be 25 minutes. I just a quick sample. There were a number of kids that did not get this done in 25 minutes. It's not a big deal. If it takes you 27, it takes you 27. But I just need to know where I can give you some guidelines in terms of how much time to spend on what part of the DBQ, because there is a school of thought out there that some teachers are telling their students don't even do all 5 documents. The timing is too short. I'm not convinced of that yet, based on what your experience has been and your reading ability. I think we should at least try. So that's the purpose of today, is to time ourselves to, one, the timing thing, 2, to get some practice in capping documents or sourcing documents, and obviously write a thesis. So if there's before I begin, are there any questions regarding what we're doing today, or any questions regarding anything? Okay. So what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to walk you through very briefly a 5-document DBQ that's set in period 3. Period 3 is primarily the American Revolution. What I'm going to ask you to do is to submit to Turnitin a thesis and caps for the 5 documents. Now remember, when you're capping a document, you don't need to do the CAPP for each document. You just need to do one cap, one CA, context, audience, point of view, or purpose for each document. So just one for one. Some things that I'm going to look for are the cap sentence stems. You have that document. It is in Schoology. If you don't have the printed copy, that should be up, ready to go. And I want to see some of that terminology, because I think it's really important. The other thing I'm going to look for is you're not going to have time, nor should you ever really quote the document. So I don't want to see any quotation marks at all. This should be straight to the point. Document A, and then use your sentence stem to contextualize document A, or point of view of document A, and so on. And the other thing that I'm going to suggest, the real purpose of this, is to either on your Chromebook or on your phone, set yourself a timer for 25 minutes. I know on my laptop, I can, I have a, where is it? Oh, so I have an alarm feature that is a countdown. According to the Trevor Packer meeting last week, there will be a clock on your Chromebook as you're doing it that will be counting down. So we need to get used to that. So whether you do it on your Chromebook or your computer, it doesn't really matter. If you just have it visible so that you know what we're doing here, or just how much time you have, is really important. The other thing is, obviously, this is the CAP document. Again, this is in, I believe the folder is called General Review Information. Remember, we're doing context, audience, purpose, point of view. You know, these are some of the writing stems. They're not, you know, it's nothing earth-shattering, but I would like you to get used to using those phrases to source these things. I will say there is one document that, if you recall, is very much biased. It's a biased document. It's one of the more famous documents of the American Revolution. And you kind of see that if you remember the story. Basically, it was Paul Revere's engraving of the Boston Massacre. That was certainly one of the first great pieces of propaganda in American history. It didn't necessarily go down like that. So there's kind of your hint for one of the documents there. So if you can have that out, or at least familiarize yourself with it before you begin. What's going to happen is, like I said, I'm going to walk you through these documents real quick. I will set you free. My hope is that once I set you free, you basically go and do this activity and get it done with. The assignment is up and turn it in already. All you have to do is submit, type up a thesis, your 5 caps. And I would also like, somewhere on the bottom or the top, wherever, just give me a sense of how long it took you to do this. Like I said, some of the AP Euro guys, it went from 20 minutes to 38, which I'm a little bit concerned about, but I'm interested to see how long it takes you to do it. Don't worry if you go over 25 minutes, just do a good job on it. That's the most important thing. We can worry about the timing later, but that's one of the purposes of this activity is to can we do all this stuff in 25 minutes? That leaves us 15 to 20 minutes to write context and a counter argument. So if we're within 25 or 30 minutes, I think we're okay. But we'll have to see. So so this is what you're going to have out the CAP document, and then of course you have this is the question. Again, this has been shared, or this has been put into Schoology already. So the question is, evaluate the relative importance of different causes for the rising tension between the American colonists and the British government in the period 1754 to 1776. Now, there's lots of opportunities for outside information or evidence beyond the documents, but that's not what we're doing today. We're answering the question with a good thesis. Implied in that is that you are also going to, in the back of your mind, kind of group these documents in support of your thesis. So evaluate the relative importance of different causes. What was the most important cause? What was the second most important cause? You're ranking them in terms of your ideas, and then supporting it with your document. So this first one is a document from North Carolina, 1765. Document 2 is an act of parliament, okay, 1767. Document 3, you should all be familiar with. I know it's a little bit big, but I can narrow this down. This is what I was referring to before, Paul Revere's famous engraving. Document 4 is an order from General Thomas Gage in 1775, key date, or the date is important there. And most well known probably are excerpts from the Declaration of Independence, 1776. So lots of moving parts. You got to read it. You got to think about what is the best cap to do. You got to write it out, and obviously you have to do that in all 25 minutes. So that's what we're doing today. So again, if you have to leave, or if you have something going on in 15 minutes, That's fine. I set it up for turn it into have this due by 6 tonight. I would like this done today though. And even if you're not doing it immediately after we're done here, just this is a practice. So really, I'm really most intrigued with the timing element. How long is this going to take? So be honest with that as best you can. And you know, I also want you to do a good job on it. So again, thesis statement, answer the question using, you know, examples, give me some specifics, cap for each of the 5 documents. And remember, it's not all the caps, it's just one. So for example, document 1, you might just do point of view for this one. And document 2, you might just do cap, or I'm sorry, context. Okay, so so basically you're going to have 5 blocks of, you know, maybe 2 to 3 sentences of each with your thesis, and then a time stamp on them. Not a time stamp, but you know what I mean. How long it took you. So that's all I have. Are there any? Oh, just some general. I mentioned don't quote it. Make sure of the time, and use those cap stems. Are there any questions? Did I miss anything? Okay. Oh, the other thing was, lastly, College Board sent out a email to you guys about whether you were planning on taking the test or not. And of my 100 odd AP students, only 17 responded. So I'm assuming if you're on this call and you're participating, you're taking the test. So
I didn't get an email like that.
no?
No.
Okay. Well, 17 people out of 100 responded, and that was pretty much across the board, because Mr. Arno sent something out, and there were, you know, I think like Mrs. Catalano had like 2 people, and so I just wanted to address it. I'm assuming everyone's taking it. I think it was just a miscommunication or something like that, but I'm assuming we're all taking it. So with that being said, I will. If there's no other, are there any other questions regarding this activity? So again, if you can't get to this right now, don't worry. You know, even if you don't get the 6 o'clock, I get it to me as soon as you can. I just think, you know, you had this hour blocked off anyway. You might as well just do it now. But if there's some weird circumstances, shoot me an email. Again, time yourself. Do it. You know, that's real. That's not the most important, but for me, it's important to go forward planning ahead. So aside from that, I'll let you go. Colin, if you would stay on the call just for a minute, I have a question for you. And Monday, we're going to go back and we'll talk about this activity, and then we'll go back and continue with our 40 and our 20 questions. So with the exception of Colin, enjoy your weekend. If there's problems, shoot me an email. Thank you.